people. I'm so excited because I'm finally doing one of my lives outside in the great outdoors. I'm able to do it in front of a fireplace, which I think is fun. Let me show you. Woo, yes. So it's chilly outside, but I get a chance to be warm. And so I'm so excited about this video because I've been talking to a lot of my clients, talking to friends, and we've been talking a lot about business and the things that they're doing in their business. And I wanted to make this video about what I wish I would have known. So I am Desiree Cocroft. I am a life and leadership coach. I coach leaders, entrepreneurs, professionals. I coach organizations. I also coach women specifically when I do a lot of one-on-one work. And the thing that I help people with the most is mastering confidence, growing their business or growing their income, and living intentionally, living in line, living their best life, getting their whole life together. So a lot of my clients tend to be full-time employees that are working in their leadership roles, but they also have another passion project that may equate to another business. And then I also have people that are business owners or entrepreneurs. And so some of the conversations that I have led me to this video of thinking about, well, what would I have wished I would have known? So if you don't know, now you know. I have two businesses. I have a 20-year-old nonprofit dance company that I started 20 years ago with two friends. And when we started it, we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. And it has grown to a multiple six-figure nonprofit while we were working full time. So something that we were doing while we were also, working a full-time job. And then all of us have had the opportunity to work in the nonprofit or within the nonprofit full-time apart from another job. And then I have my LLC, which is the business that I have right now. It is Destination Life, because life is about the journey, not the destination. And under that LLC, I operate as Desiree's coaching. And so coaching experience, I'm like, what am I? Desiree Coaching Experience. And that is where I do consulting, speaking, coaching. I'm an author, all those things. So it's my personal brand. And so I wish I would have known a lot of different things before I did both of those businesses. But I just wanted to do one video, and maybe if you all comment and let me know what other questions you have, I'll answer other questions and do other videos in more depth with some of these things. But one of the biggest things that I wish I would have known is that I don't need to know everything. So I think what hesitated me in doing this second business, this for-profit business, being a coach and consultant, is that I felt like I needed to know everything. And everything is suggestive. It's like, well, what does everything even mean? Everything just means that I felt like that there were certain business aspects of consulting that I needed to know, and so it kind of kept me from wanting to do it. I thought I needed to have all these different kinds of certifications, and I thought that I had to have, this beautiful website built out. I thought that I had to, have all these videos that showed me as a great speaker before I could go out there and promote myself. And I just found out really quickly that I didn't need any of that. I was literally just on a podcast 2 or 3 days ago, and I was just saying how it's so funny that, all the things that most people out here said I needed was not the reason I got a client. I actually got clients from other reasons. And so it's just so interesting how, you can think that you need one thing, but what all you really need is to be very clear about what it is that you actually want to go do. Like, what's the problem that you want to go solve? What's the service that you actually want to go out and serve people with? And then figure out, well, who is the person that I'm most interested in doing that with? I wish I would have had that very simplistic outlook versus really focusing in on all the other little things that, honestly, it just kept me busy. It didn't keep me productive, and it didn't keep me profitable because I actually spent so much money, probably over $100K, if that even, if not more, on solving things that I didn't need to be solved. And that's the other thing I wish I would have known, is that in certain times of your business, that's when you need to have certain things done versus doing things for your business that someone that has a certain revenue or has a certain amount of clientele would do. So for instance, if you are right now working solopreneur and you want to have like a good profit margin, you don't need to hire people right now just because it feels like things are a lot. I would actually suggest to consider what can you eliminate off of your schedule right now. Like, what are some things that you think you need to do as a business owner that you don't need to do, and that's why you feel stretched for time and think you have to hire somebody right now, and get that off your list. If it's not revenue generating, if it's not tied to your mission, then you don't need to be doing it. And then think about, okay, what are some technologies that I can use, some software, some things that can help make my business easier. I wish I would have thought about that then. That's another thing. What I wish I would have known then that I don't know, that I know now, is that there's way too many software, technology, things that you can use to make your business simpler, easier. And I knew them then, but I didn't. It was this kind of keeping up with the Joneses. This is what I was talking about the other day on this podcast, that sometimes you get caught up in it. It's like shiny gold object syndrome, right? That you feel like, oh, having a team makes me feel like an entrepreneur, and having somebody that I pay makes me feel like I'm doing something and I'm moving forward, when at the end of the day, if it's not effective or efficient, then it's just not the best use of your income, especially when it's a solopreneur job, business at the moment, and you want to keep your profit margin as wide as possible so you can keep investing in your business. And especially if you're doing this while not working full time, this is like your income. So it's like you don't really have time to be paying other people for things that can be automated, or for things that you actually don't need happening in your business right now. So what I wish I would have known before is that I really didn't need to hire people as quickly as I needed to, and for the type of things that I needed to. And knowing what I know now, I wish I would have known about other technologies. Now, there's so many things out now than when I started my first business, and there was more things out when I started this particular business, but I'm still just now getting better at using more technology to make my business easier, versus feeling like I have to hire somebody for everything, and just focusing on what matters most. The other thing I wish I would have known is that you actually don't have to hustle to be an entrepreneur and have a business. Now, this is a really controversial thing that I'm talking about in terms of hustle. So I will say I'm a high achiever. I've been a high achiever. I've always loved being involved in things and doing a lot of things, and setting high goals, all the things. And I tend to attract high achieving clients. And so with that being said, is that I think that hustling is not what you actually need to do to be profitable in your business, to be a great entrepreneur. I think it's what we're used to doing. Does that make sense? So we're used to doing that. We have normalized go, 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 do all the things, be burnt out, right? But it's not necessarily necessary. That's redundant, but it's not necessarily necessary for you to always be working and doing in order to grow. Yes, there are going to be times that are busier than others, but that's different than feeling like, if I don't work 50 hours this week, it's not going to happen. That's not true. I would say you need to look at the list of things that you got going on and see what things are really that important and would really benefit from you spending that amount of time on it. Because at some point, you're plateauing. You're not even being truly productive, right? It's almost like having people stay at work to complete something when at some point they're not really as productive as they were at the top of the day. And so you need to really manage what your energy is. And so that's another thing I wish I would have known before starting a business, is like, you have to really think about what works for you, what works for your energy, what works for your personality. Now, this is not to say that you're not going to change and grow, because obviously as you live and breathe and do different things, experience new things, it's inevitable that you have to grow and change. So that's not what I'm talking about. What I am talking about is being aware of what works best for you so that you can excel at your best. So I mean by that is, I used to feel like if I didn't wake up at 5 in the morning, then I wasn't going to be an entrepreneur to get things done. But I realized that I actually get a lot of great things done later in the day, and I need mornings for different kinds of work. And so some things now I block the morning time because I know the morning is better for me when I want to post or create content. My afternoons are way better for meetings because I'm not so busy thinking about how I want to creatively show up. I've also realized that I don't like having long coaching meetings and things like that in the evening. And so it doesn't mean that I won't make adjustments, but it does mean like I need to acknowledge where my energy is best so that I can get the best outcome for my business, and then I can still be the person that can, really flow in my business in a way that feels good and it doesn't feel like I'm burning out or things are falling on top of me. So that is another thing that I wish I would have known, because I feel like I was working all the time and trying to just get it in all the time. And on this side of life, I'm way more conscious of like, okay, what's going to be the best so that my energy level can be sustainable for a longer period of time than trying to just cram it all in. So that's something to acknowledge as well. Another thing that I wish I would have known is that you can decide that you are the thought leader, the expert right away, and you don't have to feel like you need time to work up to that. All you need is the expertise and the knowledge, and if you know how to solve the problem, you are an expert and you can, stand in being a thought leader. I think that I, for a long time, was waiting for so much external validation. Oh, let me get seen in this magazine. Let me get seen on this blog. Let me be on this podcast. Once I speak on this stage, then people will see me as this and they'll be dying to work with me. And so what I've learned is, no, if I was never if I was never seen on any stage or any podcast, I know without a shadow of a doubt that I've worked with enough people, I've received enough feedback from the clients that I've worked with and the things that I've done in my own life to know that I'm more than qualified to help people get on the other side of mastering their confidence and communication, growing their income, growing their business, and being able to live a full life. And so because I know that without a shadow of a doubt, even if I didn't have any other external validation from it, I know it. And so I wish I would have known that first, because if you are sitting around waiting for that big thing to prove that to everyone that you are the person, you'll be waiting for a long time. Because I really believe that when you internally decide that you are the person that is qualified because you decided that, and you have the receipts because of the work that you've done on yourself, the work that you've done in your industry or area is legit, that's all you need. And everything else will come. Like, everything else should be like a cherry on top. Everything else is not like a pre-qualifier of you doing the work. And I think I waited way too long to see those things happen and thought that, oh, this is going to bring an avalanche of business to me, or this is going to help people see and know, like, look at me, I'm really great. And it's like, until I recognize how great I am to myself, until I started self-validating myself, that is when more things started coming to me, because I believed in myself without needing to have those other things happening. And honestly, one thing I also wish is that the real learning, or the real, what is it called? Look, I don't know why I want to say this, this term, but the real street cred, that's what I want to say. The real street cred is working with clients. Like, regardless of where you are in your business, you don't have to feel like you have to charge less because you haven't worked with enough people. Start charging what you believe the value of your service is, and start working with people, because the more you do that, the more you'll get results, the more you'll learn from people, and that will actually help you grow in your business versus trying to get fake validation when you haven't done any work yet in terms of working with customers. You might have done the expertise work, but sometimes we again try to pile up all these different certifications and awards, and it's not that those things are bad, it's just that sometimes we think we need that before we can work with people or to prove to people that we are great. And I get it, it's social proof. I know marketing people that might be thinking about this and all of that, but the best way to grow, get social proof, and to make the dollars that you want to make is actually working with customers and working with them at the price point that you want to work with them at, and being able to use those testimonials and that work to prove that that's what you do, right? And then it's going to be satisfying to you to be impactful in the way that aligns with your business and your mission. So I definitely wish I would have known that first, because I would have spent more time just not being afraid to work with clients and wanting external things to prove that I was great, and instead of just standing on my own 10 toes down like I am great at what I do. Let me go serve some people so that I can start impacting lives now. And so I want to encourage you, impact lives now. You don't have to wait on somebody else to tell you that you're great before you do that. If you already know, hey, I can help solve a problem, then you go do that and help solve a problem in the world. The other thing I wish I would have known before I became an entrepreneur is that it's okay to have a full-time job. Now listen, I am big on this. I don't care what nobody say. You can keep your full-time job. Most of my life, and I've shared this on other lives, most of my life I have had another full-time job. And I have no shame about that. Listen, the best thing you can do for your nervous system is to have the security of a paycheck and your bills being paid. And you don't have to worry about any of those things. So you can literally pour your passion into your business, or if it's not your business, it's your family, or into your health, whatever you have, but you need that security. If you don't have that security of bills being paid, money coming in the door, your nervous system is going to go haywire, and it's going to be very difficult to be an entrepreneur and create from a place of scarcity. And so I know some people, are like Tarzan. They swing right off their job and they're like, I'm going to do this. And some people honestly are forced out of it when they become laid off and things of that nature. So yeah, if it's circumstantial, I get it. But don't feel like you can't go get another job. Don't feel like you can't get a part-time gig. Don't feel like you can't do that, because that doesn't make you an entrepreneur. For years, I discredited myself from being an entrepreneur because it wasn't full-time. I didn't feel like it was a legit, but at the end of the day, it's like, yo, I created a six-figure plus, not just $100K, a couple hundreds of thousands of dollars nonprofit. And I did that while I was working full-time with two friends. So I'm like, that is legit. It's a legitimate business. Like, we got contracts, we got grants, we, led staff. We hired people, we fired people, we moved it. It was a legitimate business, and it still is. And so I wasn't giving myself credit just because I was working full time. And it's like, no, it's legit. If I wish I would have known then what I know now, because I would have showed up way more confident in my skin. And so that leads me to another one. My first business was a nonprofit. If I knew then what I knew now, I probably would have done my for-profit first and then the nonprofit. I don't regret it, because I learned so much, and I felt so impactful, and it was really aligned with what I wanted to do. When I said I wanted to become an entrepreneur, I said I wanted to work with young people, and I didn't know it was going to be a dance company, but I knew I loved dance and being creative. I went back to school for dance after finishing my MBA, went back to school for dance to do this. And so I think that it was really aligned with my life, and it brings a different level of expertise that I'm able to share with those that I help in business. So I have 7-figure clients, they have their businesses, and I'm able to be strategic with them. And I think it's because I think differently. I haven't been always in the corporate world thinking about business. I've also been on the nonprofit side, and so I just have a different way of thinking that I think they enjoy, because I have this creative edge. And so I do think that there's been so much that has helped me, in addition to the way that I do a lot of coaching, and it's around the way our body works with our mind. And I know dance has helped me make a lot of those connections. So I'm glad I did it. But the point is, when I think about squirrel, when I think about, it would have been great to make, some more for-profit money, or if I would have just been in that business mode, it would have been great to have done it first. That's what I wish I would have known. Like, if I'd have really known that, I probably would have did that first. But the other part is that I wish I would have really known that a nonprofit is still a business. I knew that, to be quite frank. I knew it, but I think, again, that whole discrediting. I used to discredit the fact that I was a business owner because it wasn't a for-profit business. So for years, when I started considering, stepping out and being a speaker and doing leadership coaching and coaching executives, I saw in so many job descriptions, C-suite level, VP level, experience needed, and all that. And I used to feel like that made what I did not good enough. But then I've done one-on-one coaching with people that have been executive directors, VPs, people that have been in that C-suite. or people that are owners of their own businesses or their own consulting firms, even though I have not done that, the power in the way I do things with people, it still has receipts. And so I say all that to say that my experience, my expertise is still something that can transfer to other industries, transfer to different people, and so can yours. And so you don't have to think like, oh my goodness, I didn't do that exact thing. I mean, if it's nothing like rocket science, if it's not like you trying to be an astronaut, I mean, you might have to do specific things for that. Or if you're like trying to be a surgeon, you know what I'm saying? Like there are some things you need something for, but I didn't need to to be in the C-suite in a corporation. I started a business when I was 23 years old. That's enough, right? And one that is still successfully still here and that I'm still learning and growing from. And so being able to put some respect on your own things and take all the experiences that you had and make it transfer to what is it that you're trying to create and what you're looking to do, it all works. It all works for the good. The other thing, and I think this is going to be the last thing that I share that I wish I would have known, is that you actually need more of that like mental, emotional work to be done versus just knowing the strategies of creating a business. I feel like because I've always been a go-getter, someone that, you know, figure out how to do things. Like I can always figure out how to do something and go do it. I think I did not consider like the emotional and the mental toll of running a business and how it can affect your action taking, right? If your head is not in the right place and you have all these to-dos, you won't really do them, or you won't do them with fidelity because something is blocking you. And so I learned that later on, especially as becoming a coach, being really aware of what are the limiting beliefs that are keeping me from growing, and are some of those limiting beliefs causing me to do things I didn't even think I was doing, but it's actually getting in my way. Like on the inside, I found myself over the years, I would compare myself to others in terms of like they're growing so much and why am I not growing? Maybe I should do this instead of staying on my own path. And when I stayed on my own path, that's where I saw growth. And I would deter from my path, or detour, from my path when I wasn't feeling confident about the strategy and looking at other people. Instead of admiring them from a distance and celebrating them and staying on my path, I felt like, well, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do that, and just jumping all over the place. If I knew then what I know now, I'm like, girl, stay focused. Stay focused on your stuff. And don't worry about what other people are doing. It's not that they're not doing great things, and it's not that you won't do those too, because if you are someone that is a creative or someone that has a lot of different things that you like to do, like personality-wise, you might feel like, I want to write a book too, and I want to do this and I want to do that. And it's like, it's fine, but what is God saying? Do it right now and go do that and focus in on that so that you will have the capacity to do it later. So hopefully these tidbits are really helpful. I really can go on and on, but let me know in the comments, what are some things that you would want me to answer? What are some other questions that you might have? What would you want to know? What do you want to know in this area in your business? So I've been in business for 20 years for my nonprofit. I've been in my nonprofit business for about 12 years now. My for-profit business for about 12 years now. I've worked full-time in corporate. I've worked full-time in nonprofit. I coach, I consult. I've done so many different things. I would love to know what questions you have about that. But if you are interested in continuing to work with me, I have a course that's going on right now called Identity Shift. And Identity Shift is really helping women that are entrepreneurs or leaders that are just looking to shift who they are and really stand in who they believe that they are called to be right now in their life. And so in that course, it's already started. It's about halfway over, but I'm still keeping the doors open. And so this is a live course where I'm doing all the teaching live, and everything that we talked about so far has been about overcoming limiting beliefs, being very true to who you are. And right now we're talking about working through our strengths. And as we work through our strengths, we're just talking about how to make sure that we are being productive, how we're managing our time, all of that. because I tend to work with people that are high achieving, that are already positioned in their life to do something, to take action. But maybe they are looking to do something that is kind of like above them right now. And I've been there. I've been that person that even though I've done all these great things that I've talked about, I've still been in analysis paralysis about what I want to do with my life. And sometimes just needing that push to get over what's going on in my mind and just to be reminded about how dope I am. And so if that's you and you really want to step into this new season of your life, not even just a new year, but this new season of your life from a place of confidence, from a place of gravitas, really standing in yourself, then I would suggest being in this class that will end toward the end of December. And so if you're interested, feel free to go to my website, www.DesireeCocroft.com, and I would love to see you in class. So until the next time, look forward to talking to you again, and you enjoy your day. I love talking to you all. Have a good one. Bye.